Good day, everybody, and welcome to our session on NAMM. We're really glad to have you here. My name's Jim Norris. I'm the publisher of Entertainment Spotlight and several websites there, and also the President Entertainment Marketer. So why are we doing this webinar? A lot of changes at NAMM, as there is every year, a lot of new things going on, and we figured, well, we'd go straight to the source and talk to John, find out what you can benefit from being involved in NAMM and how you can get ahead of your competition. The chat is open, so you can introduce yourself, or if you want people to contact you, just put your information in there. There's also a Q&A box you'll see, so you can ask questions anytime. We're going to leave them till the end. But just anytime you have a question, just put it in there and then we'll deal with that at the end. This is being recorded. So after the webinar is over, you'll get an email that'll let you know where you can find the recording, and then it'll be on YouTube as well permanently. One thing to keep in mind with any educational session that you go to, whether it's in person or online, is that make sure that you have a follow-up plan. A lot of times people go to things like this, or they go to a trade show or a seminar on the ground and take in all kinds of information and fill their little brain up with all kinds of stuff. But the main thing is to have a plan, because you really want to make sure you're doing some things differently than you were before. So usually what I like to suggest is to come up with a top 5 list of things you're going to do. So, you know, today or tomorrow, whenever you feel like it, just sit down and say, okay, I've got 5 new ideas that I'm going to put in place. So just polls first. We're going to, just got to find that here. There it is. Okay, first off, yeah, we want to know about you guys. So the first here is if you can indicate where you live, United States, Canada, or international. International would be everything else except for United States and Canada. Quite interesting. So you can see from looking at that, 82% are from the United States, only 5% from Canada. Gee, poor little Canada here. And 11% international. We're certainly great. Happy to have you here. Secondly, just want to find out what it is you do. Now, these are multiple choice because people in the music business especially tend to do a lot of different things. So if you could just indicate what it is you do, whether you're a dealer, supplier, musician, lots of those, of course, production professional, association professional, music business professional. Okay, interesting. There's way more suppliers than dealers. Quite a few educators. Of course, a lot of people here are musicians as well. It's great to see. Okay. So as far as my history with NAMM, it goes back to the olden days. The first NAMM show I went to was in Atlanta, actually, in 1979. And at that time, I had just launched Canadian Musician magazine. So going to the show was incredible, really. It was kind of mind-boggling just to go there and see everything that there was to see. As far as our, as a company or myself, activities, what we do at NAMM shows, it hasn't changed that much, really. We're there to meet the exhibitors, of course, because they are the source of our advertising and marketing revenue. So every show, and I haven't missed a NAMM show since '79 either. I've been to a lot of them, been to all the winter shows, I think most of the summer shows. So it's a lot of trade shows. And then during those years, of course, I go to a lot of other trade shows aside from NAMM. We're also there to gather editorial content for our print or online publications. Network, of course, meet people, occasionally go to a party and have some fun. We've been running the Canadian reception. It's in its 16th year, and that'll be taking place this year or next year as well. For the last 8 years, we've been contributing the Canadian section to the NAMM Global Report, which is quite an undertaking. So it's quite amazing. I'm sure you get a copy of that. If not, if you're a member, you can get a copy. It's quite worthwhile. We've also been involved in doing NAMM's Canadian marketing. We take care of that. It's our 7th year. We deal with Pete now. So very involved with NAMM. Very impressed with the organization, and always have been. As I say, we deal with a lot of trade shows, and NAMM is exceptional. Okay, so our special guest today is John, and he's been, I think it's a little over a year, he'll clarify that, as CEO and president of NAMM. He's going to tell you about his background. It's pretty extensive. He spent a lot of time in the last year, for what I can understand, traveling as well to get a international sense of what people are doing and what they want. So I'm just going to, here we go, there we go. Just going to just got to find him first. There he is. Just pardon me if I talk to myself. Okay, I just have to make him a presenter. Okay, so with any luck, his little face will show up here in a minute. There he is. Just need to turn your mic on.
Hey there, Jim. Can you hear me? Are you working here?
Yeah, perfect. Well, you're in sunny California, no doubt.
I am in sunny California. I have the shades drawn, so I don't want anyone to see the sun and get jealous. You got to save it for January.
I know. Well, I'm in not so sunny Niagara Falls, but it's not actually too bad today. It's just rain. We had snow last week, but Buffalo across the river has just got slammed. For the Bills game, they had like 2 feet of snow or something. They requested that fans actually come and bring a shovel so they could clear their seats off.
Knowing Bills fans, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. So yeah, of course, one good thing for us Canadians in January is the Anaheim weather. The residents there sometimes think it's rather cool, but we're in the pool. We think it's wonderful at that time of year to be able to go down there and enjoy the weather and the palm trees and everything else. So just a quick synopsis of your background before coming to NAMM, if you could just go over that briefly.
Of course. And first of all, thank you, Jim, for putting this whole thing together. This is, you're such a good partner. Like you said, you've been helping us, market to the Canadian market and helping putting together the Canadian reception. And you obviously have international reach, and we appreciate you and all your time. So thank you so much. And thank you for everyone who's watching live and who's watching this recorded afterwards. I appreciate you taking the time to learn more about NAMM. My background has been in music as long as I can remember, being old enough to play or strum or bang on something that can make sound. I went through school and I was a band kid, absolutely band kid in every way you could imagine, and then went to school to be a music teacher and was performing, trying also a trumpet player. So I went undergrad in music ed, master's in trumpet performance. I got very involved and really loved education and teaching, and went back and did a second master's in education administration. And then, all of that came together for me through just also a love of music technology. And I was lucky enough to grow up through a time where, cassettes turned into CDs, turned into digital files, turned into MP3 players, turned into WAV files, turned into home recording, and just that rapid acceleration of the ability to create music. The age of the bedroom producer was growing. And that also allowed us to, reinvent some music education programs and allow students to learn to create, make, and record their own music. And that was something I was very fascinated with, which all that came together with a passion that led me to a job. My first job in the music industry was pre-Sonos Audio, starting an education division, bringing all those passions together: curriculum, products, education, anything from K-12 to college for production and audio education and just in music technology. That led me to a career at Hal Leonard Corporation as eventually as Vice President of Music Education and Technology, to no surprise in my background. And I've been involved with NAMM, before I started here officially, for 10 years, going to the NAMM fly-ins, attending NAMM shows, being part of the NAMM Support Music Coalition. I was very lucky enough to know several folks at NAMM and get to know most, everyone I knew in the industry was really because of connections made through NAMM. And I just could not be more lucky to be here. I took over May 1st of 2023. So I think that puts me at month 19, if my math is correct there. And we've had a great time, and I'm excited to share what's going to happen in January.
Excellent. So I guess for you, being in charge of NAMM now is kind of a dream job, given your background and the things that you're interested in. It must be just amazing to be involved in all of that.
It is a dream job, and it was funny. I remember because one of the pleasure of getting to know Joe Lamond for many years, and when I saw that the advertisement, I guess it was 2022, that he was retiring and they were going to start a year-long search, etc. I remember looking at that and saying, "Oh my gosh, I do not envy the next guy." Whew. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Is my first thought. And I actually didn't even think of applying at the time, but through just a lot of close friends and just close industry contacts, I did decide to apply eventually. And it was, a long process, but it really is a dream come true. And of course, there's a lot to learn. It's a very big responsibility. But, for me, the past year has been, like you mentioned already, traveling. And I said it last year at the NAMM Show. I said it in April of 23 at the NAMM Show when I was introduced. We at NAMM are the industries association, and we're the Global Industries Association. So it's not our job to tell people they need to come to a NAMM show, or they need to look at our industry insights research, or they need to follow our policy updates, or they need to do our advocacy efforts and all that. We do that because the industry wants us to do that. And I just needed to make sure that we're on the right track. So I've traveled the world. My passport is well stamped. In fact, I have 2 passports now because I was in one country while getting a visa for another one. So I actually have 2 for the next 4 years. And it's been just incredibly enlightening just to make sure to talk to members firsthand all over the world. And are we on the right track? Are we doing what the industry needs right now? So we feel really good because we've refined and we've evolved based on what our industry wants us to do. And that is put on the largest music product show in the world in an evolved way.
Excellent. And of course, the NAMM went through the pandemic, as a lot of organizations did. And, there was a lot of concern over that. And we deal with a lot of trade shows, and they were all pretty well affected the same. Smaller show, less attendees, less exhibitors. And, some people got really worried about that, but I just said, well, it's a pandemic. Like, what do you expect? It's not going to just turn on the lights and it's all going to be different the next day. So that was a rough time. And of course, the show is growing again. I noticed that Hall E is back, which is great because I love that hall. That's where you find the new guys, the little guys that mortgage their house and and stole a truck and went to the NAMM show and got their gear in there, and have discovered so many cool things, some of the software in that. So I'm really happy to see that hall back, and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, and again, it's all evolving. You know, we do have a couple things about Hall E that you'll see this year. It's definitely the quiet hall. We do have a lot of members that, you know, we're returning to the NAMM show this year. Our members want to re-engage core relationships. It's really about suppliers, you know, wholesalers, retailers, those core relationships. A lot of folks are there to meet. Of course, we'll have lots of product announcements and all the traditional buzz that you'll love about the NAMM show. But we're also going to see a lot of the meeting rooms we saw over the past few years. All the meeting rooms will be down in Hall E, because we also took advantage of a more quiet environment for folks to have meetings. So some exhibitors might have displays or even rooms on the second and third floor doing product demos, and might have a quiet meeting room in Hall E. And that's just an evolution of what our members want. One other note, you know, just I know our NAMM members do everything they can to get here, but the first time exhibitor checklist does not include stealing a truck officially. So I am not aware of any theft or no.
I was being facetious.
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's good. So the actual dates, if you could just reiterate those, because I know it's the show starts before the show starts. There's a lot going on ahead of time as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll address the 5-day concept, because I know it's new, and I call it's even internally we keep saying like the day before and calling it Wednesday. So NAMM, the dates of NAMM in 2025 are January 21 through 25. That is a Tuesday through a Saturday. The exhibit hall opens on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you'll have exhibit hall all days, energy, etc. We're officially starting the show on Tuesday this year for a couple reasons. One, because we have always had events happening on Tuesday, and I think it's time to just recognize that if you're in Anaheim in January, having meetings or engaged in something on campus on Tuesday, you're at NAMM. So I think we need to just be really clear that that is the full breadth of what happens. We also recognize that with removing the Sunday exhibit time, you know, we do have 3 packed days of exhibit time, but we also, with removing Sunday, lost time for education sessions and other events that we would traditionally hold on Sunday. So those events are now spread out throughout Tuesday through Saturday. Right now, we know our members want a lot more opportunity to get education, and a lot of that is business education that happens. We know a lot of retailers come for NAMMU and to get really good sessions, and we have, you know, again, every year we think we've outdone ourselves on education sessions, and this year is no exception. But Tuesday and Wednesday also gives us opportunities to do more long-form education, 2 and 3 hour workshops on AI and you know, business finance and marketing for brands. The other thing that we're working towards is we know that a lot of brands are coming to NAMM to grow their businesses, but traditionally they're on Thursday, Friday, Saturday when the hall is open. Brands are in the booth working as they should. So we're offering some more brand-focused sessions, particularly on Tuesday, with the idea that brands might be able to step away from setup, get some education, so they too can participate in those type of events. Wednesday has evolved into a global media phenomenon, and we really doubled down last year, and it was a huge success. So I guess we're doubling down. Is that quadrupling? Is it exponential? Not sure. But this year, Wednesday, we'll have an expanded global media day. We'll have an official opening of the creator lounge for the content creator and social influencer. We have, you know, it was 700. I think it's over 1,000 now. Content creators that are officially registered as influencers, content creators, badge now, a whole new badge category that on average have 1 million followers on a social channel. We just signed up someone yesterday who has 6 million YouTube followers and 8 million Instagram followers. So the reach we're seeing and the demand we're creating is really exciting, and we want to create all of that buzz and all of those major announcements Wednesday. So then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's just a flood to see all the gear, have all the meetings. So it'll be packed with energy.
Excellent. So you may have already covered it, but the next question I had is why should people attend the show? What are the top 5 reasons. Now, obviously, it's different if you're an exhibitor or an attendee, but assuming you're an attendee for a moment, why should you attend the show?
Top 5 reasons to attend the show. Okay, on the spot. Here's off the dome, as they say. The three quintessential pillars of any successful gathering, and we don't call it a trade show. NAMM is a global gathering, but are networking, education, and exhibits. So I'd start with those as my first 3. We'll go backwards. Obviously, you're going to see firsthand in the exhibit hall new products that might have been released in the past couple months, but you can see them firsthand. And you can talk directly to the product manager, to the sales expert, to the support expert, to the executives. You have direct access to those companies. That's so key, and that's why companies invest in showing up in these exhibits and across brand experience rooms, because the entire Anaheim Convention Center, we call it ACC internally, that's why I pause. The Anaheim Convention Center is product. The education sessions will be in the hotels this year because we have so many brand experience rooms on the 2nd floor, 3rd floor. It'll be packed with those type of opportunities. On the education side, again, over I think 60% of folks that attend NAMM attend education sessions. We know it's a huge piece of it. So you're going to see expert panels. We've curated topics and tracks. So every person attending NAMM, you will find a track. You will find a series of sessions that meet your goals and help you improve your personal experiences and your personal growth goals as well. On the networking side, people know that when the world gathers, you will meet people that will enhance your career. You will get to, strengthen relationships that you have, create new relationships, and there's nothing like that being in person and finding someone who knows someone else and getting to meet someone. Because yes, we do business online all year. Yes, we can do phone calls, texts, WhatsApp customer service, buying portals, Zoom meetings, etc. But when you have a personal connection as a foundation for all those digital touch points, those are a lot stronger all year. And our industry knows that. That's what I'm hearing time and time again. So outside of those 3, I think the 2 others one is energy. In my first NAMM show, I'll never forget, Rick Knockvey at Presona said, go to the NAMM show. And he's like, look, there's none. I came back from the NAMM show as 2013. I was so fired up. I was like on fire. I could not wait to do my job. I mean, all the way through May. It's like 5 months of like, I have so much to do. Everyone who attends NAMM, you leave with like that incredible energy. We all get together and we all share our passion. You leave NAMM and then our whole industry just shows up to work on Monday, stack of business cards, opportunities galore, and it just propels us. It's a slingshot for business. It's a slingshot for motivation. It accelerates success for the whole year. And that is a really, really important piece. NAMM is not 5 days. NAMM is a springboard or a slingshot for an entire year of success. And that's what we look at it. We don't look at NAMM 25 as a celebration or reunion of 24. We look at it as an accelerant and a catalyst for industry growth in 25. And through education sessions and the opportunities we create, we really want to make that happen. The last reason that you have to attend NAMM is you attend NAMM with a list of opportunities you know exist. You leave NAMM with opportunities that you did not know existed until you were there. Everyone that attends, and I'm going to just make a statistic up here. Everyone that attends leaves with opportunities that would not exist for their business, for their professional growth, for their career. They have opportunities because of being there. If you do not attend NAMM, you're missing out on the opportunity to find opportunities that will not exist unless you're in that place.
Excellent. 2 things I'll add to your list.
It's a list of 7. I like it.
Okay. The next one would be music. There is music everywhere at NAMM. Out in the courtyard out in front, there's some incredible bands playing there. There's every hotel practically within a mile has bands playing in the lobby. So you can just go crazy if you're a music junkie, and every style imaginable. And then a lot of the booths have people playing as well. There's music there. So just to go there for the music is amazing. And then last, but I would say not least, is it's fun. There's parties, there's things to go to. You can actually go and have a little drinky and have some fun. So I think that's important as well.
Wait, people drink at the NAMM show?
I think so, as far as I always have anyway. So those are all really good factors, I think, as well, because like at our reception, for instance, that we've been running for years, people love to go there and see people they haven't seen and just have a good time, especially for us in Canada in the dead of winter, after, just to go there and change into a short sleeve shirt and just, work all day, get your work done, and then at night just have a good time. I think that's important.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, there is a passion part of that and connection, and that's part of that energy and drive. I'm also glad you mentioned artists. You're right. It definitely we can't forget the amount of high-powered artists. And again, while at our core we are a music product trade show, the reason we have so many artists and we build so many stages, and these are huge investments. I mean, anyone in the production world can imagine the cost of building all of these stages across campus. But that's a core part of what NAMM does, because it's about, we want to make sure that we get the top artists at the show, because products by themselves in a booth look great and we can talk about features and what's behind them. But when in the hands of an artist, that's when we see the real capability of all the products launched. We're also seeing just a huge push for brands and retailers to engage artists as influencers and endorsers and promoters of products. And we want to make sure NAMM is a very comfortable and safe and open environment where artists can walk through the halls freely and go check out. I will tell you, this year, I can't announce everyone. The hardest part of this job is having to keep secrets all the time. We've already announced Jack White and his band playing at and being featured at the Tech Awards, so that's very exciting. Next week, NAMM's going to announce some more artists throughout the show, and then Yamaha will be announcing their headline artists very soon as well. I will tell you right now, it is A-list. A-list, 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 all the way through. We're looking at this artist lineup, and we're just absolutely in awe of who we're going to have at the show that we know of now. And I think that's really important, that we get major artists that are coming in and investing their time, because artists see the NAMM show as an industry gathering. They come to NAMM to perform and give back to the industry. They're not coming to do public performances. And we're not bringing them to draw public performances. We're bringing them out so that they can give to our industry, show off the amazing products, support the endorsing brands that work with these artists year round. But we're going to have some serious A-list talent. Our NAMM security team is going to be very busy the whole time.
That's great. Yeah, I over the years, some of the people that I've met there, at one point in the Fender booth, I went in and sitting there on the couch was Eddie Van Halen and Valerie Bertinelli. And it was like, whoa. And then, I think the most amazing one, I was in the Alfred booth, and there was a gentleman sitting there, very quiet. And I said, "Do I know you?" And he said, "No, I don't think so." He was being very subtle. And I looked at his badge, and it was Henry Mancini sitting there. And he was just so down to earth. But I think that one impressed me the most, is when you meet these people. And I've met, Stevie Wonder's there every year. Steven Seagal is always there. There's a lot of different people that you don't even know are artists, really. But when you meet them in that area, they're just very down to earth, and they want to talk to you. And I think the other thing that's amazing at a show like NAMM as well is, in a lot of the booths, you also meet the people that design the products. And that's amazing. When you can go in and talk to somebody at Roland, for instance, that helped design some of these products, or at Radial, or some of these very progressive companies, and actually talk to the guys that make the products, I think that's a huge opportunity, because you just don't even know who they are usually, but there they are. You can talk to them, and they are humble, but they will tell you how they came up with the products.
Well, what's amazing about that, Jim, is the product. The companies making the products are clearly like the heart of the NAMM show. I mean, we're the product show. They are the rock stars of NAMM. What's amazing to me is you mentioned these artists that come and you'll see them walking around, and artists come to NAMM and they actually seek out the companies who make the products they use and find the product managers and the designers and engineers behind the products. Artists look at these folks as rock stars in the way that we look at the artist as rock stars. I see it time and time again. They're so excited to go see, like, you're the one that makes this. And then there's a connection there because the artists are giving feedback. That's why a lot of companies send their product teams, because they want to have that firsthand feedback. And just, it's amazing how many product innovations come out of a quick conversation where an artist is like, hey, you know what? If you did this, I do this with this product. And if it just had this one feature, and it's like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that. And then a new version's launched at the next NAMM show. So it's actually really fun to create an environment where, yes, an A-list artist is walking around, but they're actually more excited to see the product managers behind their products than sometimes we're as excited to see them, which it means a lot to give the people behind the product the elevation they deserve. That's why we do the Tech Awards. That's why we love partnering and having the Parnelli Awards at the NAMM show. And She Rocks, just really elevating people in our industry is really, really exciting for us.
Yeah, because musicians are gear nuts. They're crazy about gear, and it doesn't matter if they're poor musicians or rich musicians. They love the gear, and they guitarists especially are crazy. They've got so many guitars, and there's no room in their house for anything, and it's just kind of a normal behavior that non-musicians, I guess, don't really understand. It's very cool.
Well, you can never have enough guitars, too. I mean, I just want to make that clear. If you don't have room in your house for all your guitars, you need to buy a bigger house. Or maybe you can steal a bigger house. Since we steal things now, steal a truck to take all your guitars to your bigger house. There you go.
It makes sense. So I think the other thing to point out with the NAMM show that's changed a lot is at one point it was basically aimed at musical instrument dealers, and that was it. Up until not too long ago, but the addition, I guess it's 6-7 years ago, of the pro audio lighting is a major development at NAMM. And it's, at first, it met with a lot of resistance, thinking, well, how good is this going to be? But then the best people possible are in the pro audio lighting hall, systems contractors and broadcast people and recording studio owners, and a lot of the exhibitors that at first said, nah, we're not going to do this. Well, they are now, and that hall is a serious hall. And if you're in that part of the market, it's a serious show in itself. Just that part of it.
It's so important, and then this is one of the. I mean, NAMM has done many smart things over the years, but this is really this crossroads strategy in the mid 2000 teens. I think 2014, 15 is when this first started happening. Just this idea of, yes, our core is musical instruments, but there's also stage, live sound, mixers, PA, this whole world that we're not engaging. And also this community didn't really have a home place like the NAMM show. So growing this community, really was NAMM's commitment to saying that we as NAMM, as a membership association, represent the entire music products ecosystem. That, and it becomes a stage. So it's maybe an obvious and slightly cheesy metaphor, but when you think about it, it's not just the products and instruments on stage. It's actually literally the stage and the rigging that builds the stage and the lights that light the stage and the live sound and the monitor engineer and the front of house engineer and all the people behind all of that work. So not only do we open up our exhibit hall to these products, but we made sure that we considered all these folks as members. We've had board members for the past 10 years that are at these companies advising NAMM's growth. I think this year we have, last year we onboarded Albert Chauvet. I think we have our first lighting company board member as of last year. We've had many in the pro audio side. So we're excited to think about our organization. And then over the past couple of years, we've also launched an individual membership, so that what we found is that folks that were working in live sound, maybe your contract 1099, you're doing a front of house engineer job, but you're not technically working for a member company. So how do you get a badge for the show based on our rules? We actually have a path so that folks working in the music products world, working with products, working on tour, educators especially, they can all come to NAMM as individual members. So we've opened up our doors as an association to say, not only do we want you at the show, but we want your people at the show, and we want your people as part of our association, which means we take on your issues and we represent you in DC. We think about issues that affect you as an association. We look at membership benefits that help you and your company succeed. So it's really a huge part of what we do. I visited a lot of pro audio and live sound companies, especially across Europe. All of them are now back at the show. We're very excited to have them. I know we have some cool announcements coming out this year as well at the NAMM Show. So we just love that community aspect. And it also helps us realize, if you go to like the NAMM.org, and you go to the attend page where you start seeing the information, you'll see a section on communities. And it really shows how NAMM thinks about our members, but also our show attendees. We don't think about 75,000 people in January. We think about 75 1,000 person communities. And that also allows us to make sure that we're giving every community what they need. For example, the retail channel has very specific products that they sell. Retail channel does a lot of lessons. Retail channel sells music, instruments, accessories, gear, some pro audio. But one of the newer audiences that we're really focused on the pro audio side is the rental house and the rental studio and the backline company, because for a live tour, a lot of that's rented gear, but you have these shops that are really amazing professionals at renting backline, getting gear out on tour, being an expert to that. That's who the live sound companies are selling to, in the same way a music instrument manufacturer is selling to a retailer. So, we went out, visited Claire Global out in Lidditz, Pennsylvania this year, just to really understand. That's the largest rental company in the United States, possibly in the world, I think in the world. And they, they just gave me a full tour and a really nice understanding of that side of the business. So it actually expands our membership, it expands our association, but it expands our understanding of the ecosystem. And it's just 1 + 1 + 1 is starting to equal like 10 in a really powerful way.
Yeah, and the thing is that I explained to some of the people that were hesitant at first is that being in Los Angeles area, even just people that can drive there, it's an incredible market for pro audio, lighting, and all those categories you talked about, aside from the music part of it, because Los Angeles is there's just so much of that in that area, and for just even for people to drive to NAMM for a day or two, it's not a big deal. And it's such a huge market for all of that. I mean, it is the show business capital of the world. So not only music, but all those other categories we talked about, it's huge.
That's a big part of why we're where we are. Yeah, that connection to LA, that connection, that central hub of music. And yes, depending on what time of the day you're driving through LA, it might take longer to drive from LA than it does to fly from Canada, but leave early, get there early, get the good parking spot, make sure you're driving folks in LA, but we're happy for all the folks that join us.
Yeah, it's great. So just a couple of tips about networking. We talked about that. And I find a lot of people are shy, and they're naturally shy, and for them sometimes networking is painful. But I think it's like Nike says, just do it. And the good thing is you've got badges, they're color coded. It's easy to figure out who people are and where they're from. So do you have any tips yourself to maximize your networking possibilities there?
I do. I think, we understand what NAMM's doing. First of all, is the show app has networking opportunities in it. So make sure that you're, first of all, register as early as possible. Do not wait to the last minute to register. Everyone, because you can go in the app, you can see folks. Of course, when you register, if you don't want to be seen, you can, of course, you can set your privacy settings. But if you do want to network, you can go in, you can find other folks, you can see the presenters. The entire session schedule is on the app now. We actually opened the show app back on November 4th. So everything's there. If you register for the show, you'll immediately have access to the app, and you can start building connections early. So I think that's one piece of it. There's lots of networking receptions. Make sure you show up at the networking receptions, because that is where people expect And it is completely socially acceptable to walk up and say, "Hi, I'm John. Who are you?" Because it's a networking reception. People are there to network. I mean, of course, that is something we want people to do at any time during the NAMM show, but networking receptions are key. We've looked strategically, especially internationally. Of course, we always have the Canadian reception, but we have international receptions throughout. We have receptions around different interests like audio educators, et cetera, et cetera. So you can look. We have a music educator reception. They're all in the app. Find your reception and make sure you're attending. We have young professionals receptions. We have women of NAMM receptions. We have lots of opportunities for folks to network. Take advantage of that. Make a plan. The last thing I'll say, you already mentioned it, Jim. Everyone is just as nervous and shy as you are. And think about it. Think about that moment that you're like, oh, I'd love to raise my hand in this session and just say something, or, oh, I'd love to walk up and just introduce myself to that person. Oh, think about that shy moment. Think about the moment when you've seen someone else do that takes that initiative. Have you ever thought, geez, that person's a weirdo. They just walked up and said hi. Or if someone's ever come up to you and just been bold and said, hi, I'm John. I'd love to get to know you. I can't think of a single example where someone's ever said, gosh, that was weird. You just came up and introduced yourself, right? When people take that action, nobody pushes them away. Nobody shuns them. No one makes fun of them. No one diminishes. Everyone actually admires. We admire the folks that step forward and make those introductions in a bold way. So it's a safe place. Step up and make that introduction in a bold way, because people are going to admire you for doing it. And the more people that just are comfortable stepping up and just introducing yourself and starting a conversation anywhere at the NAMM show, it becomes the cultural norm of the NAMM show. And once we get a critical mass out there, we create this culture where the NAMM show is an incredibly comfortable place for anyone to get to know each other. That's what we need it to be. So take the initiative. It will always work out positively for you. Bring a ton of business cards. We call them analog cards. Bring lots of analog cards. Of course, you have digital cards and all kinds of things as well, but you want to bring the analog version. I also heard another one where the guitar players say they have their acoustic card and their digital electric card. So however you want to talk about it, make sure you have contact information. One last tip, whether it's acoustic or electric, digital or analog, that card, after you meet that person, bring a pen and keep it with you. When you get that business card, write on the back really quick context or notes about that person. I promise you're going to meet so many people. You're going to be flying home on Sunday, look at your cards being like, who is this? Why do I have this? I know this was important, but I cannot for the life of me remember why. Keep an ink pen next to your cards and write down notes for yourself so you can make sure you follow up appropriately.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, and that's something we've always done. The other thing that I've certainly found over the years is that people in a high position, in many cases, are the most approachable. So, somebody like Hartley Peavy, for instance, runs a big company. He's a legend, and recognizable. But you can certainly go to the Peavy booth and go up and say hi to Hartley. I mean, he's from the South. And he couldn't get more friendly. Jim Marshall, when he was at the show, Les Paul I've met before. I mean, a lot of the people that are either really well-known musicians that you're afraid to talk to, but you'll find that they're more approachable than the beginners, I guess you could call it, in companies or musicians or in the pro audio market. There's people that are Howard Ungerleider is a Canadian, and he used to do Rush's lighting, and he's always there, and he's just such a down-to-earth guy. So I think that's something to remember, is that people that are accomplished to a certain extent are almost the most approachable.
Yeah, and people like being approached. I think it's people like being recognized. I think it's fun, and we yes, you're right. Reach out to people. Tell them you appreciate it. I think just as a tip, if you're thinking about how to reach out to someone, there's nothing wrong with starting a conversation with, "Hi, oh, you're the vice president. I really appreciate everything your company does. I love using your products. I just want to take a moment to thank you. My name is John, and I do this." I mean, that is a great starter. No one will ever be upset if you just reach up to, if you're worried about what to say, like everything else, just like in music or in jazz, you have a plan. Improvisation is not making stuff up on the spot. It's piecing together pieces of licks that you studied and practiced and you have in your tool bag. So, think of it like playing jazz and put together a list of opening lines and things you would say to people and walk up on the spot. You bump into someone on an elevator, pull up that lick, play it in E flat. Okay, we'll play it in D flat. That's fine too. We can do it in that key. Hi, I so appreciate everything your company does. Just whatever. Just have your licks ready to go and be prepared. You'll never know who you'll bump into anywhere on campus.
Oh, for sure. I noticed in some of the comments that a lot of the attendees are exhibitors and several are new exhibitors. Maybe you can just a couple of tips there, especially for new exhibitors. What can they expect and what should they do to make sure that they've got a good return on investment?
First of all, thank you for exhibiting. Thank you for coming. Please don't steal the truck, but thank you for coming. As a new exhibitor, I'd say obviously make a plan, like really, really come in there planned. I mean, you'll get lots of traffic. Understand the badge coloring. If you're a first-time exhibitor, understand how NAMM does, blue badges are buyer badges, and you have green for media, yellow for guests, red for other exhibitors. Just make sure you understand how to quickly qualify folks just on the color and listing and title of their badge. That's going to help you. I cannot emphasize enough, invest. I'm not trying to sell you, but you need to get the badge scanning upgrade. It's not that much. You can do it right in your phone on the app. But as you want to leave with qualified leads, so you can add, I forget what the cost is, like $1,000. I don't know, it might be less. But you could add the ability to just open your phone on the app and just scan people's badges. People are very accustomed to it. So that way you can build your list of follow-up contacts and you have those leads. You're investing to come to NAMM to leave with a handful of qualified leads. Use the scanning. That's going to be really helpful. Other thing is, try to get some branding outside. You make content. I know you're probably doing this, but make content, push it out. A lot of folks are just, when I tell you, when they're not walking around the NAMM show or at night, when they finally at 2:30 a.m. when they stumble back to their room, like Jim, right? They start looking through their phone for the day. What we're doing, they're scrolling Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and looking at NAMM show content. They're looking at buzz. So produce content, push it out, use the NAMM show hashtags so you're part of that buzz because you can keep driving people to your booth. Last power tip I'd give a new exhibitor, get to know your neighbors. You're placed in an area based on your product that is going to be the most successful for your product. And again, first-time exhibitors, I recognize that you can't come in the first time and be in front of the hall because there's a whole list of history and all these things, but get to know all your neighbors, get to understand products, do that while you're setting up, because what happens is that the show is divided into communities. So if you're a new exhibitor in the pedal area, introduce yourself to all your neighbors, and you're going to be close, by the way, to the amplifiers and the guitars for obvious reasons. So introduce yourself and create a community, because do not underestimate how one conversation, oh, you got to go check out this new person over here. Oh, you got to check out my neighbor. You might be next to competitors, but at the end of the day, I bet that everyone wants everyone to be successful. So make sure you show up and immediately become part of that community. Just like moving into a new neighborhood. You want to introduce yourself to your neighbors. You want to be part of that community.
I think, too, the other thing is I know that for new exhibitors, and especially small ones, they've got a lot to do in their booth, but I think it's important to at least take some time to walk the show and get a sense of what it's all about, and not only in your own area, but if you sell clarinet reeds, take a walk over to the Pro Audio Hall just to spend 10 minutes, look around and say, whoa, because some people go there, they're in their hotel, they're in their booth, and they don't see the whole thing in its entirety, to see how big the industry is, and to get connected with people that you wouldn't think would be valuable to get connected with. But I think somehow schedule your booth so you've got some time. When I go to a show and I'm just attending, what I do, always is take the first couple hours and just walk the show. Just the NAMM Show too. I've been going there for 45 years, but the first thing I do is spend the morning walking the show, not even seeing anybody, but just to get a sense of the whole thing and to be able to pace yourself and usually find out, my God, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And if you've never even been to the show before, that's one of the things that will kind of freak you out. It's big.
It's big. No, you're hitting on the good points, Jim. So overall, and I thank you, Christine from NAMM. Christine is on here. She's been amazing providing exhibitor resources. Yes, for first-time exhibitors, the logistics of a show this size, it's something after the first year, you're like, okay, I see. I mean, we have an exhibitor resource page. We have all the information. I know it's a lot. You can reach out to our team. We're here to help you. But some power things you're talking about. Know the area. Don't underestimate how long it takes to walk from one thing to another. Start taking, before I even was in this job, but my pre-NAMM Show regiment was all the vitamin C and health. It is a busy few days around a lot of people. Get your body healthy. Drink lots of water. Honestly, what I do before NAMM now and what I did before, last year I ran 11 miles the Sunday before. I'll do just a 10-plus day. I actually physically prepare for NAMM because of just the physical endurance it takes to get through the show. If you're not used to walking and being on your feet for 15 hours a day, it might be good to take some long walks and just get prepared. Do not wear the same pair of shoes 2 days in a row. Rotate your shoes. Your blisters will not double down. You'll create new blisters. Bring all the Band-Aids of all the sizes. Get ready for being on your feet all day. I said drink lots of water. Phone charger. Make sure you invest. You're going to be on your phone texting, meeting people, checking stuff out all day. You're going to be around 75,000 people. Your phone's going to be working harder to find signal. So you want to make sure that you have a USB charger so you don't run out of juice, whether physically or, digitally as well. I don't know, Jim, what other power tips do you have? Because there's a lot of...
Well, the other thing is, in terms of the physical toll that it takes, is the mental toll. One of our sales reps, Jan, very first show she went to, I was walking down the hall and she was just sitting in a chair. And I said, what's going on? She said, this is just too much. It's like overload, sensory overload of every kind. And you have to kind of be prepared for that if you've never been there before, because it's busy and there's a lot of sound and there's a lot of people, and you're kind of on, you're trying to do a good job no matter what you do. And you have to kind of allow for that. Sometimes even just if you can take a break and walk outside for 10 minutes and sit out there and just clear your head, because, when you're at a show like the NAMM Show, it's a lot, and you've been traveling and you're not at home. And so it's not only, I guess, physical hardship, I suppose, but mentally as well. It's quite a bit to it.
It's a lot of stimulation. No, you're really your point. And actually, in fact, we do a lot of training for our NAMM staff on this, because the 60-person NAMM staff plus all the temps and other folk contractors we hire come in for the NAMM Show. I mean, we are running. 15 hours is a short day for us. So we actually do a lot of training for our staff on this, talking about being healthy, pace yourself. One thing we talk about internally that I'm happy to share with folks is, your body physically doesn't know the difference between what is, good stress and bad stress. If you're like nervous and amplified and stressed about something, it takes a physical toll. But when you're really stimulated and excited and have lots of opportunity and your heart rate's up and your energy level's on the rise and you're sort of surging in a positive way, that still has the same impact on your physical body, but you don't realize it. It's like shoveling snow. You don't realize how much of an exertion it is because it's so cold outside, but it's actually physically affecting you in a big way. So take those breaks, recognize, pace yourself out. Also realize that, like I said, write things down, take notes. I have the notes app on my phone all the time, ready to go. Quick notes, voice notes. Just do your next week self a huge favor and pace yourself during the week, because it'll all make a huge difference.
It's a lot to take in. So if you have any questions right now, If you can plunk it into the question mark at the bottom there, the Q&A. The only thing I see in there right now is something from Drew Becker, who's exhibiting at booth 2036.
I love it. See, don't be shy. Put it out there. Yes, I will do everything I can to stop by. I build time in my schedule, and I'm actually doing it more and more this year. It's really important for me personally to walk the whole show floor. And so I actually have a few hours every day in my schedule that are considered sacred, even though people keep trying to book meetings during them. I just keep saying, I have to be out there. I have to walk through. I have to see. So I'll be walking around. If you see me walking around, you don't have to be shy about being, hey, John, come here, grab this. Just know I'll have 10,000 things I'm trying to manage, but I will stop. I will give you time. I would love to hear what you have. Check it out. So please don't be shy.
So let's see. We've got a bunch of exhibitors that are welcoming people to there's Christine, which is good. So you have a look through the chat. There's some email addresses in there. I think we've covered most of it. John, is there anything else you want to mention beyond what we've talked about already?
I just, the last thing I'll close out with, again, and we have, Christine from NAMM has been so great on here providing updates. We have, John just asked solo exhibitor. I think, we covered some of the exhibitor tips earlier. Make a plan, get to know your neighbors, make sure that you are creating content and pushing content out with the NAMM hashtags, create as much of a buzz as possible. Make sure, even as a solo exhibitor, as a first-time exhibitor, just walk the whole floor as much as you can. Try to have rotations of your staff in your booth so you can get out. It's what happens in your booth, but it's about you going out and connecting with other people as well. So you want to make sure that you sort of like hub and spoke type approach where you're in and out, just trying to make sure you're connecting. I think the thing I really want to talk about always is how appreciative we are of the NAMM staff. I mean, this is a major event. Our staff is just working overtime, and even though we love it, we do it because we love it so much. If you see a NAMM staffer, you'll see the staff badge. Thank them, please thank them, because it's a lot of work, and there is just so much love and passion out here. Know that if anyone that comes to this office and walks around and hears the conversations we're having, they're all about how much we care about our exhibitors, our attendees, our retail members. We are definitely a culture and an organization of caring for our members. We truly care about you. We want you to be successful. So do not be shy about talking to us, emailing us, and you'll get a post-show survey. Fill out the survey. Give us all the information. Because we're already talking about 2026, and honestly, a little bit about 2027. These things take 18 months minimum to plan. Give us feedback. We're doing this for you. We're doing this because we deeply care about you. So please help us help you in any way we can.
And when John says this is true. We deal with a lot of trade shows, a lot of organizations, associations, and I've never had a bad experience with a NAMM staffer, like ever in 45 years. And we've dealt with everybody, right from the CEO down to everybody, including the staffers at the show, like the security people and all the other people that are involved. And it's just very positive. They're confident and they're nice people. And as John says, don't be shy about, and it's a good chance to actually meet some of the people that maybe you've dealt with on the phone, or if somebody's helps you to with your booth. Search them out at the show, find them, make an appointment, and talk to them, and actually meet them in person. It's a great opportunity for sure.
And they'll be seeking you out too. This year we're making we always do this, but we're making more and more of a rotation. We have our business development department, and the folks that are assigned to your particular business are actively going out to make sure that they're meeting with you, checking in on you. You'll see NAMM staff, and you'll see all of our partners. It is a village, and so it's not just NAMM staff there. We have Freeman, we have Allied Security, we have our our volunteers that are the sound police and everything in between, our medical security staff. There's people you see, there's people you don't see. It is a big effort of several teams, but I'll tell you, everyone loves doing this at this show. Even the contractors in Anaheim Convention Center and all of the folks that do show after show after show, that we're sort of like week 3 to them. But we're not just week 3. They love NAMM because they love music. We all love it because we love music. I don't think we'd have this much passion and excitement if we were the National Association of Insurance, but I think we'd have this much passion, or like car parts might have a lot of passion. I'm not trying to be mean to another industry, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it all comes down to a passion for music and the music industry, and everyone feels that, even if they don't play music. And so just remember, as you attend there, you're representing an industry, you're representing that passion for music, and everyone around there feels it. So come in passionate, be bold, introduce yourself, get to know everyone, stay healthy, take care of yourself, and give yourself lots of notes throughout the week so you can follow up and have a successful 2025. You're there to make all of 2025 successful.
Excellent. Couple of questions here. Jake from ANS. If we have an employee who can make it last minute, can they register a badge at the show same day?
Yeah, or you can just register for them now, and if you don't pick it up, that's okay. You can. Our team's always willing to help, but if you have an extra badge allotment as an exhibitor, you have a pretty healthy badge allotment. So if you have the allotment, just register that person, and if they show up, great. If they don't pick it up, that's fine. But that's probably the better way to handle that.
And then Fraser from New Zealand, first NAMM Show. He's registered for the workshops on Tuesday and Wednesday. Can he pick up the badges at the Hilton?
Yeah, so there'll be badge pickups all over starting Tuesday. Absolutely. And there'll be plenty of signs, and you'll be able to find badge pickup, no problem. Once you get there, we'll have our badge pickup areas, all the hotels, convention center. I mean, trust me, we know that 75,000 people are going to come in and want to pick up a badge. So it is well marked and well signed, and you will find it no problem at all.
Yeah, that's great. So we're going to wind it down now. Again, I want to thank John for taking the time out of your busy day. Looking forward to seeing you again at the NAMM Show. And again, if you've got some ideas you've gotten out of this, write them on the wall. Make sure that some things get done, and don't be shy. And we'll see you all at the NAMM Show.
See you all at NAMM. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.